I and my boyfriend Nathan have been together for 6 years. This year we traveled to his parents' house for Thanksgiving. For context, Nathan is one of four brothers: Alex, single; Jack, married to Jill; Nathan, me; and Luke, married to Millie, with a nearly 2-year-old. Everyone lives out of state except Luke and Millie. Nathan and I have the longest drive at 9 hors. Here's the issue. Nathan's parents, Mary and John, have only 2 guest bedrooms. 3 couples tend to visit at a time, meaning someone has to sleep on an air mattress in between the rooms. The first year I visited, I was told they'd rotate who gets the air mattress to keep it fair. But after 3 years on it, we were told it was now first come, first serve. Nathan's job doesn't allow much holiday time, so we're almost always last to arrive and stuck on the air mattress. While annoying, we understood. It seemed logical. This year was different. Nathan and I got Monday through Thursday off and would arrive first. I talked to Mary about how we were to finally get a bedroom, and she laughed, saying, "Yep, first come, first serve." Millie, who I've grown close to, knew we were thrilled about the prospect of getting a bed this year. She even decided to come early too so we could hang out, and we planned I'd take the twin room and she'd take the queen. Here's where it gets frustrating. The day we left, I texted Mary our estimated time of arrival. A few hours later, Millie texted me saying Luke had spoken with Mary, who mentioned Jack and Jill would get the queen room and Luke and Millie the twin room, leaving Nathan and me on the air mattress again. Luke called Mary out, reminding her of the first come, first serve rule, but she suddenly claimed she never said that and justified her decision because Jack and Jill would be staying an extra day. For context, Jack and Jill were arriving a day later than us, so this reasoning felt like an excuse. When we arrived, Nathan brought up the rule again, but Mary got defensive, claimed she didn't remember ever saying it, and refused to budge. I said several sarcastic comments as I felt this was really unfair. I pointed out rules are rules until they didn't serve Jill, and that we always do it a certain way, until that means Jill has to take the air mattress, and she could come up with any justification, but that doesn't make it fair. I even pointed out it's silly for us to now have to board our dogs and drive 8 hours before anyone else gets here, just to change the rules now. She had plenty of time to bring this up with our many conversations leading up to this. She became increasingly sassy about the situation, leaving us feeling defeated and, frankly, a little targeted. Am I the a-hole for speaking up over thinking? Mary unfairly changed the rules to suit Jack and Jill, and that we're always stuck with the short end of the stick? Relevant comments. Original poster replied on Jack and Jill's position on the sleeping arrangements and why they don't want the air mattress. I didn't have enough room and ran out of character to address this. It is what everyone has said in the family, not that I've heard it directly from them to be fair, that they won't come again at all if they have to take a turn on the air mattress. But that's speculation, and they no longer show up for Christmas at all after the year all the brothers showed up. Commenter 1, I'm confused by this, but Luke and Millie should always get a room with their child. Alex, who's single, can sleep on a couch or wherever. The other bedroom should switch off every year between the two couples. Original poster replied, I definitely agree with the statement about Luke and Millie, especially as he gets older. However, Luke and Millie made their own decision about their child having a sleepover with his grandma. Mary wants that as well, to give them time to hang out with the brothers at night, as well as the baby spending a few nights with Millie's mom, who lives 30 minutes away. To address the questions about Alex, I ran out of room so this wasn't mentioned. He is not here and usually doesn't attend Thanksgiving. Someone said original poster shouldn't be complaining about the sleeping arrangements because Nathan and she are not married yet. But the other brothers, except for Alex, are married. Original poster replied, I've heard a lot of this, and honestly a fair assessment. However, since I have been with him for 6 years and lived with him for 5 years, anytime they ask us to visit and no one else is there, they've had no issue with us sleeping in the same room. In fact, at one point when this was going on, none of the brothers were married and we were all girlfriends. And we were on the air mattress as the rule was first come first serve, and we were there last. We plan on getting married. However, he's had college, then military training, then his big promotion in which we moved so far away on very short notice. That is where our money has gone, and we are working on saving up for a wedding, and he wants to get me a nice ring. so I truly don't think our lack of marriage factors into this, despite that being one of the excuses used when pressed about her lying to us. Commenter 2. Not the a-hole, and honestly, I'd just leave if it were me. Every time you guys dance their dance, they think it's okay. I'd go home to my nice bed, get the dogs, order a half-baked pizza tomorrow, and cook it up on Thursday. They are being rude, and if this is their status quo for the foreseeable future, you want none of it. Update. 5 days later, I feel like I may have let y'all down on this one based on the advice, but here's how things went. Later, Monday night, Nathan spoke to his mom, and we did get the bed for the one night before Jack and Jill arrived. Initially, it was only offered for us to move the air mattress into the queen bedroom for the night, but Nathan pointed out that we were being made to sleep on an air mattress when a bed was readily available. The next morning, Nathan had to run errands where we used to live before we moved. While he was gone, I washed the sheets and remade the bed, even though Luke and Millie told me I didn't have to wash them, just remake the bed. While everyone in the family is very clean, Mary always insists on washing the sheets between visitors, so I did it out of respect for her preferences. Millie and Luke even offered for us to take their bed, but honestly, it wasn't just about the bed. It was about the promises that were made and then retracted, despite these rules being in place for years. It was also about the gaslighting and the fact that Mary didn't tell us ahead of time, even though there were so many chances to do so. As close friends to Luke and Millie, I didn't want to put them in the position of being uncomfortable on the air mattress either. While I've never had a child myself, I know your body isn't the same afterward, especially your back. We ultimately agreed to move the air mattress into Luke and Millie's room since they had a heater, and it gave us a little bit of privacy. We tried to make the most of the holidays and enjoy our time there despite everything. Later, Mary mentioned plans to get 2 pull-out couches, one for the area between the rooms and one for the twin bedroom. While this was thoughtful, it still didn't address the issue of changing the rules to suit others. Mary has already stated that we'll have a bedroom for Christmas, but if this promise is broken again, we won't stay at their house in the future. Nathan and I have decided that if we don't get a bed for Christmas, we'll stay in a hotel. We're still planning to go because it's Luke and Millie's son's birthday. For Thanksgiving next year, if there isn't enough room, we're staying home. However, Nathan and I are currently planning on getting a house, and Luke and Millie suggested that once we do, we could host Thanksgiving there. They said they'd love to attend, which is exciting because Millie and I are both avid bakers and love cooking. Whenever Millie and I bring dishes to these gatherings, they're barely touched, except by us and our partners. We're also planning to visit Luke and Millie more often. They are considering moving closer to their parents, and when they host holidays in the future, we'll always have a guaranteed space at their home. To address popular questions for info on the last post, Alex. He doesn't come for Thanksgiving, he only saves his days off for Christmas. Also, he has rarely gotten put on an air mattress, only once that I remember, and that was Luke and Millie's wedding. When all 4 bros used to come for holidays, it was Alex in the twin, editor's note, twin bedroom, Luke, pre-marriage or girlfriend, on the air mattress in that room, Nathan and I in between rooms, and Jack and Jill in the queen. Hotel. This house is in the middle of nowhere. Closest decent hotel is around 1 hour. The main draw of visiting is everyone except parents, staying up late all evening playing board games, Dungeons and Dragons, and drinking. We used to do a drunk gingerbread making contest. As for the distance to a hotel, that would mean missing out on hanging out, and there are no Ubers here. Also, before we moved this year, we didn't stay as many days and didn't mind staying on the air mattress 1, 2 to 3 days due to what seemed fair to us. We also were the second closest couple and just didn't get as much time off, which always made us last. Also, we didn't get a hotel this time after the incident. Due to saving up for a house, wedding, we didn't have spare cash floating around. Honestly, y'all know this economy and unexpected expenses. Millie and Luke. They live within the state, barely. It's not feasible for them to stay home or us stay with them. Also, staying with Millie's parents isn't an option. They don't get along and interact due to their child, as Millie believes her child deserves a relationship with his grandma even if she doesn't have a great relationship with her mom. Also, there is no room. Mary. This was completely out of character for Mary. In fact, the only person everyone in the house has an issue with is John. Mary is the one who wants all of their sons home for the holidays and goes out of her way to make sure we'll all attend, usually. Luke does believe the change was due to his dad and their mom was made the messenger. Because the mom is usually a big person in fairness and mostly has had no issues, other than ones John pushed her into, this was also backed up by John's reaction to hearing we stayed in the room for one night. Before this interaction, Mary is one of 4 people that I've stated I'd take a bullet for due to her normal kindness. Jack and Jill. Most in the house has had an issue with them. Previous holidays, they have thrown a fit due to us voting on where to eat, and none of us wanted to go where they chose. So they refused to eat with us. Jill is the main issue of this, and similar things happen every time. This year, Millie asked if we could play the board game in their room one night, as she was on the phone with her sister playing an online game, and we didn't have much room due to the air mattress. Jill stated she wasn't willing to, and either it was in our room or they weren't playing. They are also the reason we have to board the dogs. Their dog is aggressive, and with a small child it's not safe. However, if they aren't attending, we are allowed to bring our dogs. Chronic illness, pregnancy. For all the comments about pregnancy, Jill is not pregnant. About health reason, Millie has some chronic illness they are still trying to figure out. Jill used to be on the overweight side, but has lost a significant amount in 3 years. I have insomnia. Both Millie and I have bipolar disorder and endometriosis. This is inconvenient due to my period usually hitting during the holidays. Relevant comments. Original poster replied on what happens if Nathan and she are married and having a baby. Are they expected to take the air mattress again if Mary asks them to come and visit? We are only going this Christmas for Millie and Luke's kid. It is his birthday as well, and we don't want to miss it. Nathan finally agreed the hotel was the best plan before he went to bed. If we have a kid, we aren't going anywhere. We've agreed on that part years ago. Honestly, wouldn't trust John around my kid. Honestly, Mary will be upset as she wants them all home. I really appreciate it. Original poster replied on her father-in-law, John's whereabouts, and his thoughts on who gets to sleep where in the house. Honestly, not sure why he would favor Jack and Jill, to be honest, because he usually has the worst to say about them. We believe it's because the ultimatum they've given about the bed. I just think John has too many red flags. He hasn't been nice to any of the wives, girlfriends, and usually makes inappropriate comments when we're alone. Luke believes it's something his dad would do, and that his mom was acting really out of character, which I saw as well. And I believe because when he saw me doing laundry and asked why, I told him we slept in the bedroom. He did this face we all make fun of and proceeded to turn and walk away and slammed his bedroom door. We all collectively just avoid John, including his sons, due to his disrespectful behavior. He's asked me if I wanted to lick his plate before, as well as make comments about my boobs. Both times Mary has jumped in and told him to stop. He was also really weird when Millie was pregnant, touching her feet a lot and taking tons of photos as she was actively in birth. When they next visited, he was streaming the photos to the TV for the family to see. We weren't there. Just last year, he made a Facebook post stating this. This morning, I'm thankful for God's many blessings. Mary and Kid are asleep in the playpen in the living room. I have 3 sons and 2 daughter-in-laws asleep upstairs. We are safe, warm, and happy. Thank you, Lord. Edited to remove names. But LOL, I was there too. He went out of his way to ask me if I saw his post. So that's why after the situation occurred, we figured out it was probably John. Original poster responds on the Christmas plans when the family gets together again, and telling Mary about the plans she's going to know when we get a hotel for Christmas. When she asks, we'll tell her why. And it'll drive home the point when we're not there for Thanksgiving. The sad part is my boyfriend plans on proposing around Christmas, and they'll definitely miss it. Loisel, I'm going to suggest doing it when we're out for dinner. Update. The update is, we broke up 2 weeks before Christmas. After coming back from the holidays, we had a fight. Initially, we decided to work things out, and for a while things seemed to be improving. He even told me he wanted to propose at Christmas, and together we picked out a ring online. But just before checking out, he sighed and said he wasn't sure about us and wanted to end things. I'll admit it was heartbreaking at the time, but honestly, it was also freeing. Looking back, I think I'd been holding on for too long to a relationship where I was giving up so much of myself just to make it work. Meanwhile, I was the only one working on us. A lot of the comments on my previous post called me a doormat, and while it stung, They weren't wrong. I'd been bending over backward for him and his family for years, and this breakup was the wake-up call I needed. After everything, I moved back to Tennessee to stay with friends. And yes, I know it's quick, but I've already met someone new, a guy I really like. Some people might say it's too soon, but I think I checked out of my last relationship long before it ended. While I'm not completely healed from the damage my ex caused, I feel like I'm finally rediscovering myself and what I deserve in a relationship. This Christmas was surprisingly joyful. I spent Christmas Eve with my friends, my new boyfriend, and even got to meet his mom. On Christmas Day, he came with me to meet my family, and it was one of the best holidays I've had in years. Commenter, just read the whole saga. Super happy you got out of a relationship. You weren't happy in with a family that clearly had some dysfunctional issues, but girl, come on. You're going to go from not being able to stand up for yourself and bending over backwards for a family. You're almost fiancé, and we're picking out rings when you say you were already checked out of the relationship. Into another relationship? Why are you so scared of being alone? Get some therapy and date yourself. This is the exact situation. So many women end up in abusive relationships. Left one relationship they were a doormat in, moved and uprooted their lives, then bam, here's this once-in-a-lifetime love bomber who they throw themselves into instead of dealing with all the crap that got them into where they were at the end of their last relationship. Love yourself instead. Everyone is saying it's too soon, because it is, with your clear personality type. Flaws, this is going to be another few years of absolute disaster. Original poster replied, I've wasted 6 years on this relationship and I deserve a chance to be happy in one, when I choose to be in one. I've regularly been in therapy for 3 years. I'm aware of issues I have and have consistently worked and improved on them. I know exactly what got me in that situation, and we've been on the rocks for 2 years. Things became rocky due to me standing up for myself and enforcing boundaries. It was my fault for believing he'd change after he would for a short period of time, which kept me in this cycle. Some things weren't clear to me due to my distance from friends and family and being stuck in this cycle. It took the cycle ending to truly appreciate how much I had been through unfairly. I do love myself, either in a relationship or not. While often too kind and forgiving a person, I would rather accept that and its consequences sometimes instead of being jaded. I enjoy the type of person I am. I am taking it slow with this guy. I do really like him, though. He knows what I've been through, and I know his history. I don't believe in rebounds and will only date if I can see a possible future with someone. I did not latch on to the first person who showed any interest. He is giving me space to work through any lingering issues, while we both also want to spend time together. He has gone through something quite similar over a year ago, so he understood what I was going through. And I don't hold back on my stance or feelings on anything around him, because if I scare him off, it wasn't meant to be. I also have a support system this time around to warn me of any red flags or issues I may be overlooking, and are willing to step in and speak to me about it. We also have the same goals, outlook on life, and want the same things in the future. Your points are valid, and I can see where you're coming from. However, despite me trying to put a good amount of info in a text post, it'll never fully answer enough questions to see the full picture of things. I felt ready to move on quicker than most, but every person and situation is different. Everyone moves on at a different pace. I hope this situation ends well, but no one can ever guarantee that it's a chance I'm willing to take. My ex and I had a perfect relationship for 2.5 years. I'm not going to hold myself back and fear everything for the chance it may happen again. Someone said, "Girl, you need to slow down. You broke up with someone 2 weeks before Christmas, moved and met someone else, and have already met his family and he's met yours? That's actually insane. You say you're fine being alone and in therapy, but your actions say otherwise. You clearly can't handle being single.